Okay. Uh, the para we're going to look at the six seals in Revelation chapter 6, the first six seals in Revelation chapter 6, and how they parallel with Matthew 24 when Jesus was speaking to the Jews. The other time I made us to understand that uh, Revelation, the seals, the tribulation, is all about the Jews, and then that of Matthew chapter 24 and then 25 is speaking about the Israelites. So we are going to look at how Jesus spoke to them about how the end times will be in Matthew 24. How the seals, when the seals have been opened. The book of Revelation, it doesn't have much direct quotes from the other parts of the Bible, but it has been alluded because all the verses, there are about 404 verses in the book of Revelation. About 278 of them have been alluded. Alluded simple means they have been taken from other parts of the Bible, and then they have written it in a different language, but it is not direct quote. It is not direct quote. So if you look at Revelation chapter 6, it has been alluded from Matthew 24, what Jesus was speaking about to the Jews. The six seals have been taken from that place, but you will not see direct quote there. You will not see direct quote from that place. So we are going to look at how what Jesus said and the seals, what will happen, what is going to happen. So we are going to look at the first seal. Good. So let us read Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2 and see the first seal, and then we compare it with that of the Matthew 24, what Jesus said. Okay, I read. And I watch as Revelation 6 1 and 2. I watch as the Lamb opened the first seal of the seven seals. Then I heard one of the four living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bowl, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror, bent on conquest. Okay, you see that this rider sat on a white horse. It is just a counterfeit. That's why we said that this is the Antichrist. He's just counterfeiting what Christ will, the second coming of Christ. So some people take this white horse to be that is Christ coming. Meanwhile, that is not Christ. But that is the Antichrist, that will counterfeit Christ and come first to deceive the people. Because Christ will come in Revelation chapter 19, verses 11. Let us read there. So the Antichrist knew that Christ will be coming on a white horse. So he quickly come in a white horse just to deceive the Israelites, not the church. But then the church would have been gone. The church would have been gone here. So he's coming to deceive the world, those who they left behind. He'll be coming to receive the left behind, the Jews, and then the nation Israel, and then that of the other Gentiles. It is the Israelites, they are waiting for their Savior. But the church, we are not waiting for our Savior. Our Savior has come. So if you are still waiting for your Savior and you are in the church, then you are in the wrong place. Because we are not waiting for our Savior. Our Savior has already come. It is only those who are waiting for their Savior, like the Israelites or the Jews, they will face the Antichrist. Let us read the Revelation 19, verses 11. And you see that when Christ is coming back the second time to end the battle of Armageddon and begin the millennium with the believers, how he is coming. He is coming with the believers. The believers will also come in the same manner. Okay, Revelation 19:11. I saw heaven standing open, and before me was a white horse. Have you seen? Whose rider is called Faithful and True. With justice he judges and make war. His eyes were like blazing fire. That is Jesus Christ, and that is the second coming. That is the second coming. So that is how he's going to come. So the Antichrist knew how Christ will come. That is why in Revelation 6, he quickly, being the wolf, entered into a sheep clothing just to deceive and prefigure, to, let's say, to pretend that he is the Christ coming. So that white horse there that people say that is Jesus Christ, that is not Jesus Christ. That is where the Antichrist is coming down, and that is the beginning of the tribulation. Because you know that the tribulation will not take place until chapter 6. Chapter 3 and chapter 4, sorry, chapter 2 and chapter 3 are that is the church age. That is where we are now. And then chapter 4 and chapter 5 are the events that will take place before the tribulation. If you haven't listened to that tape, the gap between the rapture and then the tribulation, you can go and listen to it. The gap between the rapture and then the tribulation, you can go and listen to it. We said there will be a gap after the rapture. The tribulation will not just set in. It will take maybe at least some years. Some even believe that it will be 3.5 years. Good. So you see that there's a white horse there coming down. So this white horse is the Antichrist that is coming. So this one is not Christ. So he foresaw what Christ is coming. So that's why he's coming to do what? To be he's coming to deceive the people and say what? I am the Christ. I was the one that you were waiting for. You were waiting for me. So I am the one that you were waiting for. That is how he's going to come. So let's see how Jesus spoke about it. We said that is the Antichrist, and it has been alluded. John alluded from Matthew 24. So let us see how Jesus warned the people about this coming Messiah, this fake Messiah that is coming, this false Messiah coming. Let us read the Matthew 24, the verses number 5 to 6. Let us read there. So these the first 6 seals, we are going to be comparing them with Matthew 24. So we'll see how Jesus spoke about them. Good. It says this way. Matthew 24, the verses number 4 to 5. It says this way. Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceive you." Have you seen? "For many will come in my name, claiming I am the Christ, and will deceive many. You will hear of..." Okay, we are jumping to the verse 6. So let's stop at the verse 5. What did he say? Many will come in my name and will deceive what? Will deceive many, claiming to be I am the Christ. So when the Antichrist comes, what is he going to do? What will he going to do? The first thing is that he will say, I am the Christ, and will sign a peace treaty with the people. He will sign a peace treaty with the Jews, with the Israelites, and that is where he will begin to reign as the Antichrist. So you see that is how Jesus was warning the people. You have to be aware. That's why he said, "What? Watch out that no one deceives you." So he foresaw that immediately the end time set in. Remember, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Do you know what he was telling them? Because the disciple asked him for the end times, what will happen? Let us read back. Let us read back, and you see the question that the disciples asked him before you understand what I'm trying to say here. Let's read back from the same Matthew 24 verses 3. Let's read back. Matthew 24 verses 3, so that you understand the verse 5, the verse 4 and the verse 5, and then that of Revelation. Good. As Jesus was sitting on the mountain, on the Mount of Olives, his disciples came to him privately. "Tell us," they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Have you seen? When will be the sign of your coming? So the sign here, people always think that the sign of the rapture, but the rapture don't have sign. The rapture don't have signs. Here was talking of the second coming, the signs of the second coming. So it is not about the rapture. So if you are sitting thinking that there will be something, there is something that will tell you that tomorrow next, definitely, even though there are wars and rumors of wars, but these ones, the signs here that Jesus was talking about, he was talking about his second coming. And the end of the age, I told you that if you haven't listened to that tape, go and listen to it. I said the end of the age here is not the church age, it's the age of the Israelites. And then the Israelites' age doesn't end where the church age will end, because the church age will end immediate at the rapture, but the Israelite age will end after the rapture. So if they say what will be the sign of the end of the age, by then they were talking of themselves. Was the church at that time? Those that people were that Jesus was talking to, these people that Jesus was talking to, were they the church? They were not the church. So they were. He was speaking to the Jews. So the Jews were asking for their end, the end of their age, the Jews' age, the Israelite age. Remember that the church age will end, the Jews' age will also end, and Christ will now combine the two together. So there won't be Jews and there will also be Gentiles. That is why we will not enter into the millennium. So the church age will end at rapture, and after the 7 years tribulation, the Jews' age will also end. They will resurrect and their age will end. And the two of us will now join together and enter into the millennium. So when we enter into the millennium, that is where there will not be separation. There will not be separation. If you haven't listened to that tape, you have to go and listen, because this channel is all about information of what you miss and your misconception about some things. Good. So you see that they were asking for the signs of his ending. So you see that he has now given them. After he has gone, the deceiver will come. So he was giving them the deceiver. So if you see the Antichrist, what happened? You should know that the end is about to come. It's the same thing here. That is why he was then telling them, watch out. They were not asking for the end, the signs of the end times. So the Revelation chapter 6 is also talking about the signs of the end times. So the first sign is that the Antichrist will appear. The first sign of the end time is the Antichrist will appear. So the church, if the church is raptured, the first sign for the Jews, the Jews' age to end is the Antichrist will appear. So that is what he was telling them. So the acts of the signs of the end times. So it is not the church that he was speaking about here, but that of the Jews. So you see that Jesus Christ was telling them what will happen. It's exactly John exactly alluded from this place. So he is telling us what will happen at the end of the Jews. Remember that I said what we are talking about is about the Jews and then they left behind. But the church has nothing to do with this Matthew 24, and the church has nothing to do with the tribulation, because by then would have been gone. And except those that who choose not to go, because there are some people who said they are going through the tribulation, and some also said they will go halfway. Some said they will go three-quarters way. Some said, so if you choose not to go, that is your own cup of tea. But me, I am going before this tribulation. Good. So you see that Matthew 24 is exactly what John saw. That is just exactly what John saw. What Jesus spoke to them is exactly what John saw in heaven when the first seal was opened. So Jesus spoke about the first seal here. So that is the first seal that John was speaking about, because the verse 3 of Matthew 24, what did they say? They were asking of the end of the age. And what will happen? Good. Let us read it again. Matthew 24:23. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will happen? Sorry, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? So they're asking for the sign of Jesus coming, not the rapture, not the sign of the rapture. So know the difference between the rapture and the coming of Jesus, the second coming. So they were asking for the sign of the second coming, not the sign of the rapture. So don't misinterpret this place as the signs before the rapture. Okay. So this one is talking about the signs before Christ's second coming and the age of the Israelites, not the age of the church. So he said what? Beware, be warned, or else the deceiver is coming. People will come in my name that I am the Christ. That is what the Antichrist did, sitting on the white horse. What did he say? I am the Christ, because he foresaw in Revelation chapter 19 verses 11 that Christ will sit on a white horse. So he quickly counterfeit him and sit upon a white horse, saying that I am the Christ. It's not the same that Jesus said. People will come and say, I am the Christ. What would the Antichrist do? I am the Christ, and will sign the peace treaty with the people. That is why he is coming with a white horse, to tell them that he's a peacekeeper, not even knowing that is a counterfeit peace. Let him take over, and we see the next seal. What will happen? If it is true Christ, let us look at after the signing of that bond, that that peace treaty. Let us see the next stage. What will happen? So if it's truly the Christ, what will happen? So that is the Antichrist. That is the same that Jesus was speaking to them at this place. So we see that they have para. Jesus spoke about it. Jesus spoke about the coming, the tribulation, but he didn't just go straight like that. John just saw everything that what will come. That's why John break them first seal, second seal, third seal. So Jesus still break them like that. So we're going to look at them one by one. Thank you for your time. So we'll end here. That is the first seal. What will happen? So the first seal is just about the appearance of the deceiver, the one that will come and say, I am the Christ. Meanwhile, he is not the Christ. Good. And I said by then, the only people who be there are the the left behind. That is those who are not part of the church. So if you are not part of the church, you'll be part of the left behind. That means the Jews and then the Gentiles together, those who haven't come to Christ before the rapture. So thank you for your time. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And then the other seals, it is still there. So you go through them. The second seal, the third seal, the fourth seal, up to the fifth one. They are all there. So you check on the channel and look at what Jesus said and what will happen, what John saw in Revelation. Whether they are parallel, they are the same thing, or they are different. Thank you for your time. Remember that the Revelation, it was Jesus who sent the messenger to show the angel to show these things to John. So he was like more or less repeating what he taught them some years ago. He was just repeating what he told them some years ago. Thank you for your time. God bless.